Alright, what's going on, y'all? Hope everything's going good with you. We're gluing up a guitar today. This is a cypress body, and we're going to put a walnut top on it. So I'm putting a heaping helping of Type Bond 2 on here. We'll spread it around. And on the opposite side, this is a 1/4-inch walnut cap. And this is going to be the top of the guitar. And this cypress here is 1.5 inches thick. So overall, we're going to have 1 3/4 inches, which is your standard Telecaster or Stratocaster thickness, your Fender style thickness for those two types of guitars. Alright, remember these cards that you get in the mail. Remember to save them because they make great spreaders. In fact, I don't have any left, so I'm going to have to use a piece of cardboard that's laying around. I think this will do. There you go. Some old light bulb carton cardboard. This will work just fine. Alright, we're spreading that stuff all around. So what I do is make sure I have nice flat surfaces on the body here, so that when I put the top on, I won't have any voids. And what's most important here is that you avoid any spots where the walnut is not exactly flat and connected with the body here. And again, what I do is just double check for flatness across here. I'll give it a sanding if there's anything that doesn't quite look flat. What I mean by not flat is like after it comes off the planer, if there's any snipe left over or any chatter from the blades, it can easily be sanded flat before the cap goes on. So there we go. We get a nice spread. I'm trying to stay away from this cavity is cut here for the wiring for the pickups that go to the control cavity. And I bring it right up to the edge. I want every bit of the surface to be wet when I do this. And I do the same thing with the top. And you want to make sure that you're gluing the correct side. I haven't done it yet, but I'm sure I will. I'm sure I'll glue the wrong side, and I'll be very sad, because then I'm going to have to clean it all off and start fresh. But I just checked this one, so I think we'll be all right. All right, and then what I've learned too is I used to just clamp, put the top on, line it up, and clamp it straight ahead like that. And what happened was I ended up clamping it so tight I actually left marks in the wood from the clamps I was using. So what I've learned is to use clamping cauls. And I had an old armoire that I cut up. It was made out of MDF, an old armoire. And I cut it up into shapes that are close to the actual guitar that I'm gluing up. And so there's going to be one on top and bottom. There we go. So we're all glued up. What I did beforehand was mark the center line. And you could see the center seam, but I marked the center line there. And I did the same thing on the guitar body. So as soon as I put this thing down here, you see I have it setting on my MDF clamping caul, and I have another clamping caul here. This is going to go on top in just a second. I'm going to make sure there's no wet glue on this that I just dripped on it, and no wet glue on the top here. So nice and clear and flat all across here. Nice and clear and flat. And there's my little sandwich. So once I got my sandwich on here, now as soon as you put any kind of pressure, this top is going to want to squirm all over the place because there's all sorts of hydraulic pressure. You can see it moving like that. So here's my process. That seems to work pretty well. I line it up exactly where I want it. Line the front, line the back. All right. We can scooch back just a little. Check our alignment. Check everything over here. Looks good, feels good. Okay, there's the back, there's the front. And our clamping caul is in the right place. Okay, so now what I do, pop one of these clamps on there. This is it's a vice grip 11 SP. They're made by Irwin. And I just put relatively light pressure on it and check that I'm still lined up. Okay, that looks pretty good. If I put too much pressure on it right now, it'll just squirm all over the place. So I'm going to put another one on it. See, we're sort of sneaking up on this thing. And that's kind of the way you want to do. All right. This one needs a little adjustment. Scooch it over this way a little. All right, right there. That looks nice. Now we'll go back and check this side and see if we've moved it all. Nope, looks good. Okay. At this point, we're going to just split it up. We'll go right in the middle on this side and pop it nice and gentle. And one more over here. Okay, and let's check our alignment one more time. Now once you got these 4 clamps on it, it shouldn't move. You should be able to put a lot of pressure on it with the next clamps. Okay. That looks good. I approve. Now you can start cranking on it. So we'll grab these. And what I do is split it up. So I got 4 here. I'm going to put 4 clamps nice and hard in the open spaces. And you want to stay close to the edge because that's where it matters. Because this is the spot where the bevels are going to go. And if anything is flush, it's the outsides that you want flush. So concentrate on clamping all the way around the outside. And then at the very last, we're going to put 3 clamps along the inside just for good measure. Just in case there's any gaps for some reason. want to check periodically to make sure you got good squeeze out and there's no gaps. Gaps are bad. See, we're getting a lot of squeeze out in certain sections. So I'm not doing the horns with this one. I'm sort of going between these two clamps, but I'm going in a little bit more. I'm sort of cutting the horns in half. And I'm going to hit the horns, just the end of the horns, with separate clamps. You see, with these clamping cauls on here, the top and the bottom plates, I can really apply a lot of pressure, and it'll spread that pressure over a larger section of the top and the guitar, so I can get more of an even line and have more of a chance to get everything pushed down nice and flush. Now we're going to start breaking up those spots. Again, just putting it directly in between where I already was with the other clamps. All right. All right. Looking good. I think we're having chicken tonight. There's chicken inside. It should be done here shortly. Probably thighs. I'm thinking it's chicken thighs. And what we do is we fry them skin side down. You don't have to put any oil in or anything. You just salt and pepper the skin side of the thigh. And then you put it in a hot pan. You could probably put a little olive oil in there, but you really don't need any. Put it in a hot pan, and you fry it. And these here, now you can apply more pressure, so I tighten them. Right? Put some good pressure on those vice grips at this point. Anyway, so we fry that chicken and get it nice and brown in a pan. Get that skin nice and crispy. Then you turn it, you take the chicken out, you drain the grease, and you put the chicken back in the pan with the other side, with the skin side up. And then you put it in the oven for about 40 minutes at 350. And that stuff comes out perfectly done, nice and crispy top. You know how thighs, they can be kind of tough to get the skin nice and crispy, but they come out nice and crispy and delicious, just with that salt and pepper on them. Then we'll have that with like a sweet potato that we cut in half, because sweet potatoes are usually really big. So we'll cut a sweet potato in half and split it. And I like olive oil, salt and pepper on my sweet potato. Janie likes butter and sometimes cinnamon on her sweet potato. And then, whatever kind of veg. I don't know what she's making today. Usually we'll go with like a frozen veg, like broccoli and cauliflower. And that's dinner. And I sure look forward to that. It's been a long day. I'm awful hungry, but I wanted to get this guitar together and then make a nice video for you. See, now I'm doing the horns. I want to look at the horns and make sure they're down. Check everything. Looks good. Getting decent squeeze out all the way around. Right, here's the other one. Good. Okay, now with these longer C-clamps I can reach the inside with these, and I'll get 1, 2, 3 of these in there. 1, 2, 3. I'm an excellent counter. Alright, I'm losing my glove. These aren't the best gloves. I had to get them from Amazon. Usually I get the Venom gloves. And they're a little bit thicker than these. I think they're 6 mil. These are 4 mil. And they're okay. But the Venom gloves, you can get them at Lowe's and Menards. I've got them from Lowe's and Menards. But the Venom gloves are like one size fits all. And they're much more durable than these. But they're a little more pricey too. At this point, with all this COVID stuff going on, gloves are really expensive. Any type of personal protective gear like that is a bit pricey. All right, so that's all the clamps. That's what it looks like. And now we just wait. Oh, sorry, I gotta clean up. I just take an old towel that's cut into strips, and I clean up the squeeze out. And it's always easier to clean the glue before it dries. So that's why we do this now. Now I have pretty good pressure on all this stuff, but you really don't want to clamp the daylights out of the thing. In other words, you don't want to crank on these so much that you're pushing all the glue out of the seam. Little flying critters. It's that time of year. All right. Looking good. There. Now that's got to wait for a good 24 hours. And then when you take it off, it'll look something like this. This one is cherry with western red cedar. I can tell by the knots. Right? There's a little bit of glue. You see it all over, and the edges look a little rough and they're uneven and stuff. Well, all that is going to be smoothed out when I put the template on there and run it through the router. And the bearing is gonna, here's the actual template for the shape of the guitar. And that's gonna go on there like this with double-sided tape. And we're gonna trim the outside of it to the shape of the template. That's how all that works. Maybe I'll make a video on that. All right, so smash the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and remember that every machine is a smoke machine if it's not used properly. Peace.